Visiting the scariest places on Earth might not sound like a great use of your PTO at first, but hear us out. Many things that are terrifying at first glance often lead to some of the most fascinating, downright beautiful corners of the world. We're talking limestone caves as tall as cathedrals, eternally burning pits in the middle of the desert, and marine lakes filled with millions of golden jellyfish. Our planet certainly has its fair share of terrifying and mysterious places, just waiting for the next morbidly inclined traveler to come visit. From Italy to Antarctica, here are the 15 most horrifying places on Earth that defy the law of what is considered normal. If you want to visit any of these, go ahead at your own risk. At the very least, these places will leave you with a story to tell. All right, let's kick things off with Number 15. Horrifying Forest, Romania. You might not believe in UFOs, but the super strange events surrounding the Horrifying Forest in Transylvania could make even the biggest skeptic question reality. In 1968, a military technician photographed a UFO hovering above this eerie forest, catapulting it into paranormal fame. Since then, it's become notorious as the Bermuda Triangle of Transylvania. Many claim the forest causes people to vanish without a trace, while others report strange symptoms like rashes, nausea, and anxiety after walking its paths. The Horrifying Forest has earned a reputation as one of the creepiest places in the world, not just for its alleged paranormal activity, but also for the spooky atmosphere that surrounds it. If you want to visit this haunted forest, you can go by plane or train from Transylvania. Just be sure to go on your own terms, and at your own risk. 2 to 3 hours is enough to experience the strange energy of this Transylvanian forest. Number 14. Aokigahara Jellyfish Lake, Palau. It might look mildly terrifying at first glance, especially if your lifelong dream isn't to dive into a sea of stinging invertebrates. But Aokigahara Jellyfish Lake in Palau is actually one of the most enchanting places you could visit. Nestled on Isle Malk Island, this stunning marine lake is home to millions of jellyfish that gracefully glide through the water each day, following the sun's path. The jellyfish, including the golden and moon varieties, are completely harmless, so there's no need to worry about stings. If you want to visit this island, you can obtain a pass, and it only takes a short boat ride to reach the island itself. Just be sure to not only pack your swimsuit but also an ocean-friendly sunscreen, as visitors are required to follow the Palau Pledge in order to protect the delicate marine life. If water isn't your cup of joe, the next spot definitely is not. Number 13. The Door to Hell, Turkmenistan. While Joss Whedon led us to believe that the entrance to hell could be found in Sunnydale, California, he was actually some 7,500 miles off. Located in the middle of the Karakum Desert in Turkmenistan is the Door to Hell, a name locals gave to a 230-foot-wide crater that simply won't stop burning for 50-plus years. The story behind this fiery spectacle dates back to 1971, when Soviet scientists were drilling for oil. Unfortunately, they hit a methane reserve, causing the drilling platform to collapse. This triggered the formation of the crater and unleashed dangerous methane gas into the air. To prevent a hazardous explosion, the scientists decided to ignite the gas, expecting it to burn off quickly. However, the flames have continued to burn ever since, creating an otherworldly, infernal landscape that still captivates curious travelers today. Number 12. Danakil Depression, Ethiopia. It's not so odd that scientists visit the Danakil Depression in the northeast of Ethiopia. It is, however, almost weird that tourists flock to it, though. Maybe they simply don't understand what they're getting into, or perhaps they find the alien nature of this natural wonder intriguing. Be that as it may, this place is one of the most terrifying places on Earth. To start with, the heat of the Danakil Depression itself is deadly, with temperatures that can reach 125 degrees. That makes this inhospitable location the hottest in the world, according to USA Today. Scientists study the depression to determine how life could possibly live on Mars, a planet with no atmosphere or life-providing resources. The only thing that maybe thrives in what some have labeled the gateway to hell is a handful of microbes. Nothing else can drink the acidic salt water that's heated by magma barely below the dirt. The air contains toxic, chlorinated, and sulfurous fumes. And to top it all off, there's a literal lake of lava in Danakil's Erta Ale volcano. Number 11. The Great Blue Hole, Belize. While this beautiful and mysterious place might look like a stunning natural wonder, the Great Blue Hole off the coast of Belize is far from welcoming. With a jaw-dropping depth of around 400 feet, it's the world's most dangerous underwater sinkhole and definitely not a spot for the faint of heart. For those with a fear of water, it's more like a nightmare. The Great Blue Hole has been drawing divers since the 1970s, but its allure comes with a deadly catch. The deeper you go, the higher the risk. Divers who venture past 290 feet risk meeting the same fate as those who vanished before them. Bodies have been discovered at the bottom, preserved in the oxygen-deprived depths. But it's not just the depth that's terrifying. Below 200 feet, a toxic layer of hydrogen sulfide creates an impenetrable, pitch-black barrier that engulfs anything within its reach. It's as if the Great Blue Hole is waiting for its next victim, hiding secrets in the darkness below. Number 10. Gomantong Caves, Malaysia. The Gomantong Caves in Malaysia are a breathtaking natural wonder, with towering limestone walls reaching up to 300 feet. However, for most visitors, the beauty quickly fades when faced with the reality of what lurks inside. This cave is home to over 2 million bats, which means thick layers of guano, aka bat poop, coat the ground, creating a putrid, slippery mess. And don't even think about holding on to the handrails. They're just as filthy as the floor. If you manage to wade through the bat droppings, you'll be greeted by millions of Malaysian cockroaches scuttling across the cave. These critters are relentless, covering every inch of space where the guano lingers. And just when you think things can't get worse, you might encounter even more delights. Venomous snakes, scorpions, freshwater crabs, and the infamous giant Aokigahara centipedes. Poisonous and at least 3 inches long. It's no wonder people leave calling it one of the most disgusting wildlife experiences they've ever had. Number 9. El Aziza, Libya. If the idea of a hot summer day with no available air conditioning scares you, then get ready to scream about this next location. Well, if you Google the hottest place on Earth, you'll probably come across the name Death Valley in California quite a bit. Why? Well, this place is actually quite well known for its extreme weather conditions. In fact, the highest recorded temperature in Death Valley was a scorching 56.7 degrees Celsius on July 10, 1913. But what if we told you that Death Valley isn't the only contender for this title? Often cited as the hottest inhabited place on Earth, El Aziza in Libya has experienced even higher temperatures of 58 degrees Celsius. So, how is this possible? Well, the reason for the extreme heat in El Aziza has to do with southerly winds that blow hot air into this small town from over the Sahara Desert. Just imagine how the residents of this town must feel during the summer. Sounds a bit like hell on earth, isn't it? Number 8. Centralia, Pennsylvania. In the heart of Pennsylvania, the once thriving mining town of Centralia is now a desolate ghost town. It's one of the most chilling places in America. Centralia has all the typical creepy vibes of an abandoned town, crumbling buildings and an eerie silence, but it has some truly unique features that make it particularly unsettling. If you ever visit, though you probably shouldn't, you'll notice something strange. Smoke drifting from the ground, rising from the remnants of buildings that have long since been left behind. This smoke is the result of a coal mine fire that started in 1962. While the cause is debated, the effects were disastrous. The fire quickly spread underground, filling the air with toxic fumes and making the town uninhabitable. Worse still, the fire still burns beneath Centralia today and could continue for another 500 years. Sinkholes, poisonous gases, and the ever-present threat of danger have kept people away from this town. Number 7. Drake Passage, Antarctica. The Drake Passage is a common way to get to Antarctica from South America because it's a short, direct route, but it's also a dangerous one that'll test the mettle of even the most hardened sailors. The swells can be dangerous, with waves upwards of 40 feet, and ice debris can come out of nowhere. The number of shipwrecks within the freezing waters varies, but since it was a standard trade route back in the day, most sources put the number in the hundreds. You might be thinking that we left the dangers of sea travel behind when we moved into the futuristic age of today, and you'd only be partially correct. Modern technology and weather predictions have certainly made this trip less dangerous. That doesn't mean it's safe or pleasant, so it's best to stay away. Number 6. Hanging Coffins, Philippines. If you want to visit the dead in Sagada, don't look 6 feet under. Look up instead. The people of this region of the Philippines are known for burying their dead in coffins attached to the sides of cliffs, like an aerial cross-section of your average cemetery. The tradition goes back thousands of years. Carve out your own coffin, die, and get hoisted up next to your ancestors. Many of the cliffside coffins are hundreds of years old and all look entirely different, as they were specially made by the person who now rests inside of them. It is sure a creepy place to visit, but also a fascinating one. Number 5. Pompeii, Campania, Italy. The site of Pompeii in Campania, Italy, is both fascinating and terrifying. In AD 79, Mount Vesuvius, a rather large volcano, blew its top, so to speak. The eruption was massive, and the age was too early for any sort of accurate predictions of the timing of natural disasters or where they might strike. Ash and stone rained down from the sky. Toxic gases filled the atmosphere. Citizens of Pompeii were wiped from life, but not from the earth. The colossal amount of ash released in the eruption buried the city, preserving it for more than a millennium and a half before it was rediscovered in the 1700s. Had the citizens of Pompeii known more about conventional geology, they would have known the city was built on the site of a previous eruption. Number 4. Yungas Road, La Paz, Bolivia. If you're planning to tackle Yungas Road in Bolivia, you better not be afraid of heights. Known as the Death Road, it's one of the most terrifying roads in the world. Stretching for over 20 miles, this narrow, winding gravel path is barely wide enough for a car. On one side, jaw-dropping mountain views offer a stunning sight. On the other, a sheer drop that could send anyone tumbling to their death. To make matters worse, there are no guardrails to protect you. The road has claimed hundreds of lives, including passengers on buses that have fallen over the edge. Though a new road now serves as a safer alternative, Yungas Road is still open for the daring. Just remember, the view might be breathtaking, but the risk is real, if you're brave enough to face it. Number 3. Aokigahara Forest, Honshu, Japan. Aokigahara Forest, at the foot of Japan's iconic Mount Fuji, is as beautiful as it is tragic. Known worldwide as the Suicide Forest, this dense woodland has become a haunting place where many have come to end their lives. The forest's tranquil beauty and isolation have drawn those in despair, seeking a final resting place away from the world. Upon entering, visitors are greeted with signs urging them to reconsider their actions and reminding them of the impact on their loved ones. Sadly, in the span of just 2 years, over 100 lives were lost to the forest. The reasons behind the phenomenon are still debated. Some believe the forest offers an escape, a quiet solitude for those overwhelmed by their struggles. Others think there's a darker force at play. Number 2. Skeleton Coast, northern Namibia. If you've ever wondered what it might feel like to experience the primal fear of our nomadic ancestors, trudging through endless desolation in search of food and water, Skeleton Coast in Namibia is the perfect place. This eerie stretch of coastline, 300 miles long, offers nothing but barren sand and unrelenting heat. The ground is littered with the bleached bones of animals, some perhaps dragged by the ocean's tides, others left behind by creatures desperately searching for life-sustaining water. The isolation here is palpable. With no food, no fresh water, and no one for miles, being stranded in this vast emptiness is a nightmare. The only company you'd have are the skeletal remains and the rusted wrecks of ships that couldn't survive the unforgiving Atlantic. It's a haunting reminder of nature's indifference to human survival. Number 1. Snake Island, Brazil. If snakes aren't your thing, then Ilha de Queimada Grande, or Snake Island, is definitely not the place for you. Located about 90 miles off the coast of São Paulo, this island is one of the most dangerous in the world, notorious for its terrifying density of golden lancehead vipers. With studies reporting as many as 1 to 5 snakes per square meter, stepping foot on this island is like entering a living nightmare. Isolated from mainland Brazil for around 11,000 years, the snakes on Snake Island have evolved in ways that are as unsettling as they are fascinating. With no ground prey, these vipers took to the treetops, striking at birds mid-flight. To make things even more horrifying, their venom has become 5 times stronger than that of their mainland cousins, capable of killing their prey instantly and even melting human flesh. It's no wonder the Brazilian government bans all public access to this island. Who would willingly visit? And there you have it, guys. 15 most horrifying places in nature. What do you think? Well, let us know your thoughts in the comment below. And be sure to like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.